Hey everyone! Did you know that according to a recent survey, over 60% of Europeans believe that most Americans own a gun? This statistic is quite eye-opening, and serves as a perfect example of how certain perceptions about America can be widespread, even if they aren't entirely accurate. It's fascinating to see how these ideas form and persist over time. That's a pretty startling statistic, and it reveals just how pervasive misconceptions about the US can be across the pond. These misconceptions can shape opinions and attitudes in ways that are often surprising, and sometimes even misleading. Now, I'm not here to debate gun control today, but this statistic got me thinking about the broader picture of how Americans are often perceived by those in other parts of the world, particularly in Europe. It's intriguing to consider how these perceptions are formed, and what they say about the cultural exchange between our continents. So, in this video, we're diving deep into some common misconceptions that Europeans often have about American life. We'll explore the origins of these myths, and how they compare to the reality of living in the United States. We'll be debunking stereotypes, exploring cultural nuances, and hopefully, fostering a bit more understanding between our continents. By examining these myths, we can gain a clearer picture of what life in America is truly like, beyond the headlines and Hollywood portrayals. We'll be looking at everything from the American dream, to our food, our patriotism, and even our supposed lack of cultural sophistication. Each of these topics offers a unique window into the American experience and helps to paint a more complete picture of who we are as a nation. Because let's face it, stereotypes are a lot like internet arguments. Easy to make, often based on incomplete information, and rarely productive. They can lead to misunderstandings and prevent us from seeing the full complexity of a culture or a people. Now, I'm not saying that all European perceptions of America are negative or that Americans are perfect, far from it. Every culture has its own set of challenges and strengths, and it's important to recognize and appreciate these differences. Every nation has its strengths and weaknesses, its quirks and complexities. By acknowledging this, we can move towards a more balanced and informed view of each other. But by taking a closer look at these misconceptions, we can hopefully move beyond simplistic generalizations and engage in a more nuanced conversation about what it really means to be American. This deeper understanding can pave the way for more meaningful connections and collaborations between our cultures. So, buckle up, grab your thinking caps, and get ready for a transatlantic journey as we unpack these misconceptions and hopefully learn a thing or two about each other along the way. This journey promises to be enlightening and perhaps even a bit surprising as we challenge our preconceived notions and discover new perspectives. DFTBA, let's do this. Together, we can bridge the gap of understanding and celebrate the rich diversity that makes our world so fascinating. One of the most enduring images associated with America is that of boundless wealth and prosperity. This image has been perpetuated through various forms of media, from Hollywood movies to glossy magazine covers, painting a picture of a land where success is not just possible but almost guaranteed for those who are willing to work hard. We've all seen the movies: sprawling mansions with white picket fences, perfectly manicured lawns, and an air of effortless luxury that seems to permeate every corner of these idyllic neighborhoods. Shiny sports cars in every driveway, symbols of success and the rewards of hard work, are often showcased as the ultimate achievement. And families living seemingly carefree lives, enjoying barbecues in their backyards, children playing without a worry in the world. It's the American dream, the idea that anyone, regardless of background, can achieve extraordinary success through hard work and determination. This dream has been a beacon of hope for millions, drawing people from all corners of the globe to the United States in search of a better life. And while the American dream is a powerful motivator, it's often misconstrued as a guarantee of affluence for all. The narrative suggests that success is a direct result of individual effort, overlooking the systemic barriers that many face. The reality, as with most things, is far more complicated. The United States is a land of contrasts, where immense wealth exists alongside profound poverty. While the US does have a significant number of wealthy individuals and a high GDP, this wealth is not evenly distributed. The glittering skyscrapers and affluent neighborhoods are often just a stone's throw away from areas struggling with poverty and neglect. In fact, the US has one of the highest levels of income inequality among developed nations. This disparity is not just a statistic, it translates into real-world consequences for millions of people. This means that the gap between the rich and the poor is vast, and it's a growing concern. Homelessness and food insecurity are stark reminders of the challenges that many face daily. What this image doesn't capture are the millions of Americans who work tirelessly, sometimes holding down multiple jobs, just to make ends meet. These individuals are often invisible in the narrative of the American dream, yet they are its backbone. These are the families struggling to put food on the table, afford healthcare, and manage the rising costs of living. The dream of homeownership and financial stability remains elusive for many, or provide their children with a decent education. Underfunded schools and limited access to resources create additional hurdles for those trying to break the cycle of poverty. They are a vital part of the American story, even if they don't always fit the stereotypical image. Their resilience and determination are testaments to the human spirit. So while the American dream is attainable for some, it remains out of reach for many. The dream is not a one-size-fits-all, and its attainability is influenced by a myriad of factors. It's a complex issue with historical, social, and economic factors at play, and it's crucial to acknowledge this reality when discussing American life. Understanding these nuances is essential for fostering a more inclusive and equitable society. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the stereotype in the beret. The notion that Americans are culturally unsophisticated is one we've all encountered. It often goes something like this. Americans are obsessed with fast food and reality TV, they don't know geography, and they think culture is a yogurt. Now, I'm not going to pretend that America doesn't have its fair share of lowbrow entertainment and cultural faux pas, because, let's be honest, every country does. But to reduce an entire nation's cultural output to its most superficial elements is not only inaccurate, it's just lazy thinking. The US, with its rich history of immigration and cultural exchange, boasts an incredibly diverse and vibrant cultural landscape. From the soulful sounds of jazz born in New Orleans, to the groundbreaking abstract expressionism of Jackson Pollock, from the literary genius of Toni Morrison to the scientific innovations of Silicon Valley, American culture is a dynamic tapestry woven from countless threads. To dismiss American culture as shallow is to ignore the profound impact it has had and continues to have on the world stage. Section 2. A nation of innovators and storytellers. Okay, let's talk about another stereotype that seems to stick to Americans like peanut butter to, well, you know, it's the idea that Americans are somehow geographically challenged, that they can't find their way around even with a map and a compass. This stereotype paints a picture of Americans as people who are blissfully unaware of the world beyond their borders, and it's a notion that has been perpetuated in countless jokes, memes, and even some media portrayals. The idea that Americans are walking, talking GPS blind spots, you know, the kind who can't find their own state on a map, let alone anything outside their borders. It's almost as if the rest of the world is just a vague, uncharted territory to them. You know, the kind who can't find their own state on a map, let alone anything outside their borders. This stereotype suggests that Americans are so insular that they have no interest or knowledge about the world beyond their immediate surroundings. And look, I won't pretend the stereotype is completely baseless. There are indeed instances where Americans have displayed a shocking lack of geographical knowledge. But here's the thing, these instances are often highlighted and exaggerated, making it seem like they represent the norm rather than the exception. I've met a few Americans in my time who couldn't point to Europe on a globe if their life depended on it. But I've also met many who are incredibly well-informed and curious about the world. It's important to remember that these stereotypes are just that, oversimplified and often misleading generalizations. But here's the thing about stereotypes. They're seductive in their simplicity. They offer a convenient way to categorize and judge people without having to delve into the complexities of individual experiences and backgrounds. They let us paint entire groups of people with a single, broad brushstroke. This kind of thinking is not only lazy but also dangerous because it ignores the rich diversity and individuality within any group. And that's dangerous because the reality, as always, is far more nuanced. The truth is that people are complex and multifaceted, and reducing them to a single stereotype does a disservice to everyone involved. Because, you see, for every American who thinks abroad is just a fancy word for airport, there are countless others who are deeply engaged with the wider world. These are people who travel extensively, who immerse themselves in different cultures, and who are genuinely interested in learning about the world. We're talking about people who devour international news, who stay updated on global events, and who can discuss international politics with as much ease as they discuss local issues. Who can tell you the difference between the Bundestag and the Knesset, who understand the nuances of different political systems and cultural practices, who spend their vacations exploring ancient ruins in Greece, soaking in the history and culture of civilizations that have shaped our world, or trekking through rainforests in Costa Rica, experiencing the natural beauty and biodiversity of different regions. The truth is, America is a nation built on immigration, a melting pot of cultures, languages, and perspectives. This diversity is one of the country's greatest strengths, and it naturally leads to a curiosity about the world beyond our borders. And that legacy is woven into the fabric of our society. It's reflected in our food, our music, our traditions, and our interactions with one another. We're a melting pot of cultures, languages, and perspectives, and that naturally leads to a curiosity about the world beyond our borders. This curiosity drives many Americans to learn about and engage with different cultures, and that naturally leads to a curiosity about the world beyond our borders. This curiosity is not just academic, it's a genuine interest in understanding and connecting with people from different backgrounds. Plus, let's not forget that America is a global superpower, for better or for worse. Our actions and policies have a significant impact on the rest of the world, and this global influence means that many Americans are keenly aware of international affairs, for better or for worse. Our foreign policy decisions have ripple effects across the globe, influencing everything from economic markets to political stability in various regions. Our foreign policy decisions have ripple effects across the globe, and this interconnectedness means that being informed about international affairs is not just a luxury, but a necessity. So it's in our own best interest to be informed about international affairs. In a world that is increasingly interconnected, understanding and engaging with global issues is crucial for making informed decisions and fostering mutual respect and cooperation.
Know you've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin.
Okay, I get it. When you think American food, the first image that pops into your head might be a glistening, greasy hamburger, or a mountain of fries. And yeah, we Americans do love our fast food. It's quick, it's convenient, and let's be honest, sometimes it really hits the spot. But to say that American food begins and ends with fast food, that's like saying the Mona Lisa is just a picture of a lady with a funny smile. The truth is, American cuisine is incredibly diverse. It's a melting pot of flavors and traditions, influenced by waves of immigrants who brought their own culinary heritages to this land of opportunity. From Italian pasta to Chinese takeout to Mexican tacos, American food is a delicious tapestry woven with threads from around the globe. And let's not forget about the regional specialties. We're talking New England clam chowder, Louisiana gumbo, Kansas City barbecue. The list goes on and on. Each region of the United States has its own unique culinary identity, shaped by local ingredients, cultural traditions, and of course, a dash of good old-fashioned American ingenuity. Alright, let's talk about patriotism. It's one of those things that can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to cross-cultural understanding. And yeah, Americans have a reputation for being, shall we say, enthusiastic about their country. You'll see American flags flying from houses on bumper stickers, even on clothing. We sing our national anthem with a fervor that might surprise some. And don't even get me started on the 4th of July. We're talking parades, barbecues, and enough fireworks to rival a small war. Now, I know that to some, this level of outward patriotism can seem, well, a bit much. It can even be mistaken for nationalism, which is a whole other can of worms. And believe me, I understand the distinction. Nationalism can be exclusionary and even dangerous, often built on the idea that one nation is inherently superior to others. But here's the thing about American patriotism. It's often rooted in a deep appreciation for the ideals on which this country was founded. We're talking about freedom, equality, and opportunity. These are values that resonate with people from all walks of life, regardless of their background or beliefs. So there you have it. 5 common misconceptions about American life, debunked. We've talked about wealth inequality, cultural contributions, global awareness, culinary diversity, and the complexities of patriotism. And through it all, I hope one thing has become clear: stereotypes, while often tempting shortcuts, rarely tell the whole story. The United States, like any nation, is a place of contradictions and complexities. We're a nation built on ideals, yet we constantly grapple with our shortcomings. We're a melting pot of cultures, yet we still struggle with issues of diversity and inclusion. But through it all, we're a nation that's always evolving, always striving to be better. And that's the beauty of cross-cultural exchange. It challenges us to look beyond our preconceived notions, to engage with different perspectives, and to embrace the richness and complexity of the human experience. It reminds us that the world is a vast and fascinating place, filled with people who, despite their differences, share the same hopes, dreams, and aspirations. So, let's approach our differences with curiosity rather than judgment, with open minds and open hearts. Let's listen to each other's stories, share our own experiences, and build bridges of understanding across cultures and continents. Because in a world that often feels increasingly divided, it's more important than ever to remember that we're all in this together.